What is the very first thought that enters your mind when you open your eyes each morning? In that tender space between sleep and waking, before the world rushes in with its demands, what voice speaks to you first? For so many of us, it is the voice of worry. The mental calculation that begins before our feet even touch the floor. How much do I owe? What bills are waiting? Will there be enough? We program scarcity into our consciousness before we have even taken our first conscious breath of the day. I know this pattern intimately because I lived it for years. There was a time in my life when my eyes would flutter open, and immediately, like a dark cloud settling over my day, the thoughts would begin. The mortgage payment due next week. The credit card bill growing larger each month. The constant gnawing sensation that I was always one step behind, always catching up, never quite enough. I would lie there in those first precious moments of the day, and instead of greeting the miracle of another sunrise, I was calculating survival. My first conversation with life was always about lack. I remember one particular morning with startling clarity. It was early spring, and the light was filtering through my bedroom curtains in the softest golden way. The birds were singing their dawn chorus outside my window. The air smelled fresh with possibility. But lying there in that beautiful moment, my mind immediately went to the pile of bills on my kitchen table. My chest tightened. My breathing became shallow. My shoulders hunched as if preparing for battle. And suddenly, in that moment of awareness, I realized something profound. I was teaching my entire being that life was scarce before I had even begun to live the day. That morning, something shifted. Instead of continuing the familiar spiral of worry, I placed my hand over my heart and whispered something different, something that felt foreign on my tongue but warm in my chest. I whispered, "Life loves me and wants to take care of me." The words felt strange, almost rebellious after so many mornings of mental accounting, but as I spoke them, something loosened in my body. My breath deepened. The tightness in my chest began to dissolve. It was as if I had just introduced my nervous system to a completely new possibility. The birds were still singing the same song outside my window. The bills were still on the kitchen table. Nothing in my external circumstances had changed. But in that moment, I understood that I had been creating my experience of scarcity with my very first thoughts each day. I had been setting the tone of struggle before life had even had a chance to show me its gifts. That one gentle statement, that simple redirection of my morning energy, began a transformation that would change not just how I started my days, but how I experienced abundance itself. If you have found yourself here, listening to these words, it is not by accident. Something in your soul is ready to begin your days differently. Perhaps you, too, have been greeting each morning with thoughts of not enough. Perhaps you have been programming limitation into your consciousness before you have even given abundance a chance to find you. But today, that pattern can begin to change. The most sacred time of day is not found in any temple or church. It is found in those first 5 minutes after you open your eyes. In that space, your subconscious mind is still soft, still receptive, still open to new programming. What you plant in those moments grows throughout the entire day. What you affirm in that tender space between sleep and full consciousness becomes the magnetic field that draws your experiences to you. Over the next 60 minutes together, I will show you exactly how to transform your mornings from moments of scarcity into portals of abundance. You will learn not just what to say, but how to feel it, how to embody it, how to become a magnet for the good that is always trying to reach you. This is not about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is about understanding that your thoughts are creative forces and your morning thoughts are the most powerful of all. If you are feeling a stirring in your heart as I speak these words, if something is recognizing itself in this message, then perhaps you would like to walk this path of morning transformation with me each week. Every Tuesday, there is a new teaching here, a new way to align your consciousness with the abundant nature of life itself. When you feel called, when your soul says yes, subscribe to this channel. There is always more healing, always more awakening, always more abundance to discover. And now, let me show you exactly how to begin. Before you rise from your bed this morning, before your feet touch the floor, Before the world begins to make its requests of you, I want you to understand that you are lying in a portal. Those first moments of consciousness are not ordinary time. They are sacred space. Your nervous system is still soft from sleep. Your subconscious mind is still open like a flower in the early morning light. This is when new patterns can take root most easily. If you are listening to this later in the day, that is perfectly fine. You can practice this ritual anytime you lie down quietly. But tomorrow morning, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember that you have a choice about how you enter each new day. Place your hand gently over your heart now. Feel that faithful rhythm that has been with you through every moment of your life. Your heart beats approximately 100,000 times each day without any conscious direction from you. It is a constant reminder that life is already taking care of you in ways you could never manage with your own effort. Close your eyes and take 3 deep, conscious breaths with me. Inhale slowly through your nose, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold gently for 2, 3. Now exhale through your mouth, releasing everything that no longer serves you. 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel your body sinking deeper into this moment. Let's do this 2 more times together. Breathe in love. 2, 3, 4. Hold in gratitude. Breathe out limitation. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale abundance. 2, 3, 4. Hold the knowing that you are supported. Exhale all fear about not having enough. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, with your hand still resting over your heart, I want you to speak 3 sacred affirmations. These are not just pretty words. They are declarations of truth that will set the energetic tone for everything that follows in your day. Say them softly, as if you were speaking to the most beloved part of yourself. The first affirmation is, life loves me and sustains me. Say it now, quietly. Life loves me and sustains me. Feel the words in your chest. Notice how your body responds to this statement. Does something relax? Does your breathing change? Your cells are listening. They have been waiting to hear these words from you. The second affirmation is, abundance flows to me easily and naturally. Speak this now. Abundance flows to me easily and naturally. You are not demanding or begging. You are simply acknowledging a truth that already exists. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. Look outside at the billions of stars, the countless leaves on the trees, the infinite grains of sand on every beach. Scarcity is the exception. Abundance is the rule. The third affirmation is, I am a magnet for good. Say this now with gentle authority. I am a magnet for good. You are not trying to force anything to come to you. You are simply recognizing that your consciousness, when aligned with gratitude and love, naturally attracts experiences that match that vibration. Repeat all 3 affirmations once more, but this time, see if you can feel them as well as speak them. Life loves me and sustains me. Abundance flows to me easily and naturally. I am a magnet for good. You may have felt warmth spreading through your chest. You may have felt a subtle shift in your energy. You may have felt nothing yet, and that is perfectly fine too. Some of you might have felt resistance, a voice saying this is silly or impossible. That voice is not your enemy. It is simply the old programming, and it is normal for it to speak up when something new is being introduced. If you would like to anchor this moment to let the world know that you are beginning to live your mornings differently, go down to the comments and simply write the affirmation that resonated most strongly with you. You might write, life loves me and sustains me, or I am a magnet for good. When you read the comments from others, you will see that thousands of people are choosing to start their days in abundance rather than scarcity. Your declaration becomes part of a powerful wave of transformation. You have just planted 3 seeds in the fertile soil of your morning consciousness. These seeds will grow throughout your day if you allow them to. But there is something deeper happening here that I want you to understand. Something invisible but profound has just shifted in your energy field. You have just said yes to receiving more good than you have been allowing yourself to experience. Now let me show you why this simple practice has the power to change your entire relationship with abundance. Your brain in the first 5 minutes after awakening is in what neuroscientists call a hypnagogic state. The brain waves are moving between alpha and theta frequencies, the same states accessed in deep meditation. Your conscious mind, the part that analyzes and judges and worries, is not yet fully online. This is why those first few minutes feel so soft, so dreamlike, but it is also why they are so powerful. During this time, your subconscious mind is extraordinarily receptive to new information. Whatever thoughts you consistently think in this window become embedded in your unconscious programming. They become the background beliefs that operate throughout your day, attracting experiences that match their vibration. Think of your mind as a powerful magnet. Every thought you think carries a certain energetic frequency, and like a magnet, it draws experiences of a similar frequency toward you. If you begin each day thinking about what you lack, you are magnetizing more experiences of lacking. If you begin each day acknowledging the abundance that already surrounds you, you begin magnetizing more experiences of abundance. This is not metaphysical theory. This is practical psychology. When you focus your attention on something, your brain's reticular activating system, the part that filters information, begins to notice more evidence of what you are focusing on. If you wake up thinking about scarcity, you will notice every empty space in your life. If you wake up thinking about abundance, you will begin to notice the countless ways life is already providing for you. But there is something even more profound happening. When you speak words of abundance and gratitude in that soft morning state, you are literally changing the chemistry of your body. Gratitude increases the production of dopamine and serotonin, the neurotransmitters associated with happiness and well-being. It also decreases cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps your nervous system in a state of survival and scarcity. Your heart has its own electromagnetic field, more powerful than that of your brain. When you place your hand over your heart and speak words of love and abundance, you are creating what researchers call heart coherence. Your heart rhythm becomes smooth and harmonious, and this coherence influences every other system in your body. Your immune system strengthens. Your thinking becomes clearer. Your emotional state stabilizes. I understand that some of you may be feeling resistance to these ideas. Part of you may be saying, "This is just positive thinking. Affirmations won't pay my bills or solve my real problems." This voice of skepticism has a purpose. It is trying to protect you from disappointment. It has learned that hoping for more can lead to hurt. Thank this voice for its concern, and then gently remind it that you are not trying to deny reality. You are trying to create a new one. Another voice might be whispering, "This feels selfish. I should be grateful for what I have instead of wanting more." This is the voice of false humility, and it misunderstands the nature of abundance. True gratitude does not require you to settle for less than what brings you joy. When you align with abundance, you become a source of abundance for others. Your prosperity creates prosperity. Your joy inspires joy. And perhaps the most persistent voice is saying, "I have tried this before and it didn't work." This voice carries the disappointment of past attempts at change. It has watched you begin new habits and then abandon them. Speak to this voice with compassion. Tell it that this time you are not trying to force anything to happen. This time you are simply opening to what wants to unfold. The universe is not neutral about your well-being. Life itself has an abundance bias. Every morning, the sun rises without fail. Every spring, thousands of flowers bloom without being asked. Every moment, your body performs millions of functions to keep you alive and thriving. Abundance is not something you have to earn. It is something you learn to recognize and receive. Your morning affirmations are not commands to the universe. They are reminders to yourself of what is already true. You are already loved. Abundance is already flowing. You are already worthy of all good things. The affirmations simply help you remember and align with these truths. If this understanding touches something in you, if you can feel the truth of your own abundant nature beginning to stir, then perhaps you would like to explore this path of conscious awakening with me on an ongoing basis. Every week, there is a new doorway into deeper alignment with the love and abundance that surrounds you. Subscribe when your heart recognizes its home here. Now let me show you how to deepen this practice throughout your morning routine. The 3 affirmations you learned are the foundation of your new morning practice, but abundance consciousness can be woven through every moment of your awakening ritual. I want to offer you 5 additional portals, 5 more ways to anchor yourself in the energy of receiving before you step into your day. The first portal is the gratitude of the senses. Before you fully open your eyes each morning, while you are still lying in that soft space between sleep and waking, take a moment to appreciate what each of your senses is already receiving. Feel the warmth or coolness of the air on your skin. Listen to the sounds around you, perhaps birds singing or the gentle hum of your home coming to life. Notice any scents that reach you, maybe coffee brewing or fresh air from an open window. When you do open your eyes, let them rest softly on whatever they see first, appreciating the miracle of sight itself. This practice attunes you to the abundance that is already flowing to you through every sense, every moment. The second portal involves your morning dressing ritual. As you put on each piece of clothing, let it become a blessing. As you slip on your shirt, silently say, "I am clothed in abundance." As you step into your pants or skirt, say, "I walk in prosperity." As you put on your shoes, say, "My path is guided toward good." This may feel unusual at first, but remember that every spiritual tradition recognizes the power of blessing the ordinary. You are not just getting dressed, you are clothing yourself in conscious intention. The third portal is the circle of golden light. After you have dressed, but before you leave your bedroom, stand quietly and imagine a circle of warm, golden light surrounding you. See this light extending about 3 feet in all directions around your body. This light serves 2 purposes. It protects your energy field from any negativity you might encounter during the day, and it also acts as a magnet, drawing abundance and opportunities into your experience. Take 3 deep breaths while visualizing this light, and set the intention that it will remain with you throughout your day. The fourth portal is perhaps the most powerful. Before you begin your daily activities, take a moment to have a conversation with your future self 12 hours from now. Imagine yourself at the end of this day, grateful and satisfied. Ask that future self, "What abundance did this day bring me?" And then listen quietly for the answer. You might receive images, words, or simply a feeling. This practice opens your awareness to possibilities you might not have considered and creates an energetic pathway for good to find you. The fifth portal is the creation of a physical anchor. Choose something you wear every day, a ring, a necklace, a bracelet, or even just touch your heart. Each morning, after you have completed your affirmations, touch this anchor and repeat one simple phrase, "Abundance flows." Then, throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself worrying about money or feeling stressed about resources, touch your anchor and repeat the phrase. This creates a neural pathway between the physical action and the state of abundance consciousness. I learned about the power of these practices from a woman named Svetlana who attended one of my workshops several years ago. She was a talented graphic designer who had been struggling to find consistent work for over 2 years. She would wake each morning immediately checking her email, hoping for job responses, and when there were none, her day would begin with disappointment and worry. When she learned about morning abundance practices, she was skeptical but desperate enough to try anything. Svetlana chose to work with the fourth portal, the conversation with her future self. Every morning, she would sit quietly and ask, "What work came to me today?" Instead of checking her email first thing, she would first align with the feeling of having received good news. She practiced feeling grateful for opportunities before they manifested. Within 3 weeks, she received an email from a former client who had a large project and had specifically thought of her. Within 2 months, she had more work than she could handle and was able to raise her rates. When I spoke with her 6 months later, she told me, "I stopped hunting for work, and work started finding me. The desperation energy was repelling the very thing I wanted." The key to any of these practices is consistency rather than intensity. You do not need to perform all 5 portals every morning. Choose 1 or 2 that resonate with you and practice them daily. Abundance consciousness is like a muscle that strengthens with regular use. Each morning that you choose abundance over scarcity, You are rewiring your nervous system to expect and receive good. Remember, you are not trying to convince the universe to give you something it does not want to give. You are aligning yourself with the abundant flow that is always moving in your direction. You are simply learning to get out of your own way and allow yourself to receive what life is constantly offering. Tomorrow morning, when you first open your eyes, remember that you are opening them in a universe that has an infinite supply of everything you need. Your only job is to align your consciousness with that truth and then take inspired action from that aligned space. The abundance you seek is not separate from you. It is an expression of you. There is a practice I want to share with you that goes deeper than affirmations, deeper than positive thinking. It is a practice of profound recognition, and when done with sincerity, it can shift your entire relationship with abundance in a matter of minutes. It is the practice of acknowledging the abundance that has already arrived in your life, but that you have been too focused on lack to notice. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, allowing each exhale to relax you more deeply. Now I want you to think about the breath that is effortlessly flowing in and out of your lungs. You are not having to pay for this air. You are not having to earn it or deserve it. It is freely given to you, moment after moment, without interruption. The atmosphere of this planet is providing for you constantly, and you never have to worry that there will not be enough air for you. This is abundance. Think about your heart beating steadily in your chest. You did not have to purchase this heart or apply for the privilege of circulation. It was given to you as a gift, and it works tirelessly on your behalf, pumping life through your body without any conscious effort from you. Over the course of your lifetime, your heart will beat approximately 3 billion times, and you never have to wonder if it will beat the next beat. This is abundance. Consider the intelligence that is operating in your body right now. Millions of cells are regenerating. Your immune system is protecting you. Your digestive system is transforming food into energy. Your nervous system is coordinating countless functions simultaneously. You have access to an intelligence more sophisticated than any computer ever designed, and it operates continuously for your benefit. This is abundance. Think about the sun that rises every morning, providing light and warmth without sending you a bill. Consider the rain that waters the earth, the trees that produce oxygen, the vast ecosystem that supports all life. You are embedded in a web of abundance so complex and generous that if you truly saw it all at once, you would be overwhelmed with gratitude. This is the context in which you live every moment of your life. Now, when you feel yourself slipping into thoughts of scarcity during the day, you have a powerful anchor to return to. Simply touch your hand to your heart, take a conscious breath, and whisper, "Abundance flows." This phrase will connect you instantly to the recognition of all the abundance that is already present. You are not asking for abundance to come. You are acknowledging that it is already here. What is happening in your body when you practice morning abundance affirmations is a complete recalibration of your nervous system. For many people, the default setting of the nervous system is what neuroscientists call sympathetic dominance, a state of mild but constant fight or flight. This state evolved to help humans survive physical threats, but in modern life, it is often triggered by financial fears and social pressures. When your nervous system is in this state, your perception narrows. You can only see problems and threats. Opportunities become invisible. When you begin your day with gratitude and abundance affirmations, you shift your nervous system into parasympathetic dominance, the rest and digest state. In this state, your heart rate variability improves, which means your heart rhythm becomes more coherent and harmonious. Your brain produces different neurotransmitters. Creativity increases. Problem-solving abilities improve. Most importantly, your perception widens. You begin to notice possibilities that were always there but were invisible to your stress-focused awareness. Recent research in epigenetics has shown that our thoughts and emotions can actually influence which genes are expressed in our bodies. When you consistently practice thoughts of abundance and gratitude, you may be turning on genes associated with resilience, optimism, and even longevity, while turning down genes associated with stress and inflammation. You are literally changing your biology from the inside out through the power of conscious thought. But the most profound change happens in what some scientists call the biofield, the electromagnetic field generated by your heart and brain. This field extends several feet beyond your physical body, and it carries information about your internal state. When you align with abundance consciousness, your biofield begins to vibrate at a frequency that naturally attracts abundant experiences. Other people feel this shift, even if they cannot consciously identify what has changed about you. Opportunities seem to find you more easily because you are broadcasting a signal that says you are open to receiving good. The transformation does not happen overnight, but it also does not take as long as you might think. Most people begin to notice shifts in their external experiences within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent morning practice. But the internal changes, the shifts in how you feel and how you perceive your life, often begin immediately. Trust these early signs. They are preparing the ground for the more visible changes to come. Remember that abundance is not just about money, although financial ease is certainly one expression of abundance consciousness. Abundance is about having enough of whatever brings you joy, enough time, enough energy, enough love, enough creativity, enough peace. When you align with the abundant nature of life itself, all these forms of richness begin to flow more freely in your experience. When you begin to practice morning abundance affirmations consistently, your energy changes immediately, but the external results unfold in a predictable progression. Understanding this progression will help you recognize and celebrate the changes that are happening, even before they become obvious to others. The first marker is willingness, and it typically emerges within the first 3 days of practice. Willingness sounds simple, but it is actually profound. It is the moment when you stop arguing with the possibility that your life could be different. You may not yet believe that affirmations will change your circumstances, but you become willing to experiment. You might find yourself thinking, I am willing to try something new. I am willing to believe that abundance is possible for me. This willingness creates the first crack in the wall of limitation that has been surrounding your life. The second marker is energetic perception, which usually appears within the first week. You begin to notice that you wake up with a different feeling in your body. The heavy, anxious sensation that used to greet you each morning starts to lighten. You may not feel abundant yet, but you no longer feel the familiar dread about facing the day. You might catch yourself thinking, something feels different, but I cannot quite name what it is. This is your nervous system beginning to reset to a new baseline of peace. The third marker is the appearance of subtle synchronicities, which typically begins in the 2nd to 4th week. Small but meaningful coincidences start showing up in your life. Someone mentions exactly the book you need to read. You find money on the ground. A friend offers something you have been wanting. An opportunity presents itself at just the right moment. These synchronicities are not accidents. They are signs that your energetic frequency is shifting and beginning to attract experiences that match your new internal state. The fourth marker is perceptible flow, which usually manifests between the 2nd and 3rd month. This is when abundance begins to move visibly in your life. Work opportunities increase. Money comes from unexpected sources. Relationships improve. Creative projects find support. The flow is still gentle, still building momentum, but it is undeniable. You find yourself thinking, things are definitely shifting in my favor. The 5th marker is magnetic identity, which solidifies between the 4th and 6th month of consistent practice. This is when abundance consciousness becomes your new normal. You no longer have to work to feel abundant because you simply are abundant. Your thoughts naturally move toward gratitude and possibility. You attract opportunities without effort because your entire being radiates the frequency of someone who expects good things to happen. You have become a magnet for abundance, not through force, but through alignment. It is crucial to understand that this progression is not always linear. You may experience a beautiful week of synchronicities and then hit a period where nothing seems to be moving. You may feel abundant one morning and wake up the next day with familiar anxiety. This is completely normal. Transformation rarely follows a straight line. The old patterns of thought have been with you for years, and they do not dissolve without some resistance. The key is to not interpret temporary setbacks as proof that the practice is not working. Instead, see them as the final release of old energy. Often, just before a major breakthrough in abundance consciousness, there will be a period of intensified worry about money or resources. This is not punishment. It is purification. Your consciousness is releasing the last vestiges of scarcity thinking to make room for a new level of abundance. I want to share something important about the timeline of change. While internal shifts can happen very quickly, external changes in your financial circumstances may take longer to fully manifest. This is because external abundance often requires new actions, new skills, or new connections. The universe may need time to orchestrate the people and circumstances that will deliver your good to you. Trust that everything is being arranged on your behalf, even when you cannot see the progress. Celebrate every marker as it appears, no matter how small it seems. The moment you notice that you are waking up with less anxiety, that is worthy of celebration. The first synchronicity, however minor, deserves acknowledgement. Each sign that your consciousness is shifting is proof that the practice is working and that larger changes are on their way. If you are just beginning this practice, take a moment right now to declare your willingness publicly. Go down to the comments and write, "Day 1, I choose abundance," or "I am willing to wake up differently," or simply, "I am ready." When you make a public declaration, you anchor your intention in a way that strengthens your commitment. And when you read the comments from others, you will see that thousands of people are walking this path with you. You are not alone in your desire to live more abundantly. Remember that every person who now lives abundantly once stood exactly where you are standing now. They once wondered if change was really possible for them. They once felt the fear that maybe they were different. Maybe transformation worked for others, but not for them. But they kept practicing anyway. And eventually, abundance stopped being something they were trying to achieve and became something they simply were. As you begin to practice morning abundance affirmations, 5 specific voices will arise to challenge your new practice. These are not random doubts. They are the guardians of your old identity, and their job is to keep you safely in the familiar patterns that you have always known. Understanding these voices and knowing how to respond to them with compassion will determine whether your practice deepens into transformation or fades away under the pressure of old conditioning. The first voice is what I call the cynical realist. This voice emerges usually within the first week of practice, and it speaks with the authority of worldly wisdom. It says things like, "The real world does not work this way. Bills are not paid with positive thoughts. Rent requires actual money, not affirmations." This voice is not necessarily wrong about the practical requirements of life, but it misunderstands the purpose of abundance consciousness. You are not trying to replace action with affirmations. You are aligning your internal state so that your actions become more inspired, more effective, and more likely to produce the results you desire. When this voice appears, respond gently. "Thank you for wanting to keep me grounded. I understand that actions matter, and I am learning to take actions from a place of abundance rather than desperation." The second voice is the guardian of humility, and it usually speaks up in the second or third week. This voice is concerned that wanting more abundance makes you greedy or ungrateful. It whispers, "You should be content with what you have. There are people with so much less. It is selfish to want more when others are suffering." This voice comes from a misunderstanding of how abundance actually works. When you align with abundance consciousness, you become a source of abundance for others. Your prosperity creates jobs, supports businesses, and allows you to contribute more generously to causes you care about. Poverty helps no one. When this voice speaks, respond with love. "I honor my gratitude for what I already have, and I also honor my desire to express my gifts more fully in the world. My abundance serves the highest good of all." The third voice is the impatient pragmatist, and it typically appears around the 4th or 5th week. This voice becomes frustrated with the timeline of change and demands immediate results. It says, "This is taking too long. I need money now, not next month. These affirmations are not fast enough for my real problems." This voice comes from the addiction to urgency that our culture has cultivated. It does not understand that sustainable abundance is built on a foundation of inner alignment, not outer force. When this voice becomes loud, breathe deeply and respond, I understand your urgency, and I also trust that the foundation I am building now will support lasting abundance. I am willing to let my good come to me in perfect timing. The fourth voice is the comparer, and it often emerges around the 6th to 8th week. This voice looks at other people who seem to manifest abundance more quickly and uses their progress to invalidate your own. It says, "Look how fast it worked for her. Why is it taking me so long? Maybe I am doing it wrong. Maybe abundance just is not meant for me." This voice forgets that every person has a unique path and timeline for transformation. Some people may have been unconsciously practicing abundance consciousness for years before they discovered formal affirmations. Others may have less resistance to receiving because of their upbringing or personality. Your path is your path, and comparing it to others will only slow your progress. When the comparer speaks, remind it gently. Everyone's path to abundance is unique. I trust that my abundance is coming to me in exactly the right way and timing for my highest good. The fifth voice is the final test gatekeeper, and it usually appears just before a major breakthrough in abundance consciousness. This voice orchestrates what seems like a financial crisis or setback right when you are starting to feel confident about your abundance practice. It might manifest as an unexpected expense, a delayed payment, or a temporary loss of income. This voice says, "See, nothing has really changed. You were fooling yourself. Abundance consciousness is just a fantasy." This is often the most challenging voice to navigate because it comes with external evidence that seems to support its message. But this apparent setback is actually a graduation test. Life is asking, will you maintain your abundance consciousness even when the external circumstances temporarily contradict it? When you can stay aligned with abundance, even during apparent lack, you prove to yourself and the universe that your new identity is real and unshakable. Each of these voices served a purpose at some point in your life. The cynical realist protected you from financial foolishness. The guardian of humility kept you connected to your values. The impatient pragmatist motivated you to take action. The comparer helped you learn from others. The final test gatekeeper ensured that your changes were real and lasting. Thank these voices for their service, and then gently redirect them toward supporting your new abundance consciousness rather than undermining it. The most powerful tool you have for working with these voices is awareness. When you can recognize them as familiar patterns rather than ultimate truths, they lose their power to derail your practice. Simply noticing, "Ah, there is the cynical realist again," or "Hello, guardian of humility," can create enough space between you and the voice for you to choose a different response. Remember that these voices become loudest just before they become silent. If you are hearing a lot of internal resistance to your abundance practice right now, it may mean that you are closer to a breakthrough than you realize. The old consciousness often gets noisier before it gets quieter. Stay with your practice. Trust the process. Your new abundant life is waiting for you on the other side of these temporary voices of limitation. Abundance often arrives so quietly, so naturally, that we can miss its presence entirely if we are looking for dramatic changes or expecting it to announce itself with fanfare. Learning to recognize the subtle signs that abundance consciousness is taking hold in your life will help you celebrate your progress and continue building momentum toward even greater prosperity. The invisible signs appear first, usually within the first 2 weeks of consistent practice, and they happen in your body before they show up in your circumstances. You might notice that when you think about money or bills, your chest does not tighten the way it used to. Your breathing remains steady when financial topics arise in conversation. Your sleep becomes deeper and more restful because your nervous system is no longer on high alert about survival. These changes are invisible to others, but they represent a fundamental shift in your relationship with abundance. Your body is learning that it is safe to relax, safe to trust that you will be taken care of. Another invisible sign is that you start touching yourself more gently. You might notice that when you wash your face or brush your hair, your hands move with more tenderness than before. When you get dressed, you naturally choose clothes that feel good on your body, rather than just what looks acceptable. This shift happens because abundance consciousness includes an appreciation for the body that carries you through your abundant life. As you begin to value yourself more deeply, you naturally treat yourself with greater care. The third invisible sign is a change in your dream life. Your dreams may become more vivid, more colorful, more filled with positive imagery. You might dream of receiving gifts, finding treasure, or being welcomed into beautiful spaces. Your subconscious mind, now being fed different information each morning, begins to process abundance instead of lack even while you sleep. Pay attention to the tone of your dreams. They are often the first indication that your inner world is shifting. The internal signs become noticeable in the 3rd to 6th week and represent changes that you can perceive, but that may not yet be obvious to others around you. One of the most significant internal signs is that you stop checking your bank account compulsively. Many people in scarcity consciousness develop a habit of obsessively monitoring their financial balance, as if checking it frequently could somehow make more money appear. When abundance consciousness begins to take hold, you feel less need to constantly verify your security. You check your account when necessary for planning purposes, but you no longer seek reassurance from the numbers. Another powerful internal sign is that your natural generosity increases. You find yourself giving tips more freely, buying coffee for the person behind you in line, or contributing to causes without the old internal calculation of whether you can afford it. This happens not because you suddenly have more money, but because you are beginning to operate from a sense of plenty rather than scarcity. Generosity becomes natural when you trust that there is more where that came from. Creative ideas also begin flowing more freely when abundance consciousness is integrating. You might wake up with solutions to problems that have been puzzling you. New projects or business ideas present themselves. You start seeing possibilities where you once saw only obstacles. This happens because creativity and abundance are intimately connected. When your nervous system relaxes out of survival mode, the creative centers of your brain come online more fully. The external signs typically begin to appear between the 6th and 12th week, and these are the changes that other people start to notice. One of the most common external signs is that invitations and opportunities begin appearing without your having to seek them actively. Someone mentions a job opening that would be perfect for you. A friend invites you to an event that leads to a meaningful connection. A neighbor offers you something you have been wanting to buy. These occurrences are not coincidences. They are evidence that your energy field is now attracting experiences that match your abundance frequency. People also begin responding to you differently, though they may not be able to articulate what has changed. They might comment that you seem more relaxed, more confident, or that there is something different about your energy. Some may say you look younger, or ask if you have been doing something new with your health. What they are sensing is the absence of the stress and worry that used to emanate from your energy field. Abundance consciousness makes you magnetic in a very literal sense. Financial flow improvements are another external sign, though they may be subtle at first. You might find unexpected money, receive a refund you had forgotten about, or discover that a bill is lower than you anticipated. Work begins to flow more easily with less effort on your part to hunt for it. If you have a business, customers start appearing with less marketing effort. If you are employed, opportunities for advancement or additional income begin to present themselves. I want to tell you about a woman named Cordelia who recognized these signs and how that recognition accelerated her transformation. Cordelia was a high school teacher who had been struggling financially for years despite working 2 jobs. She began practicing morning abundance affirmations, but was skeptical that they would make any real difference. For the first month, she noticed only the invisible changes. Her sleep improved, and she stopped waking up with anxiety about money. In the 6th week, she was standing in line at the grocery store when she realized she had not checked her bank balance in over a week. This was remarkable for her because she had previously checked it multiple times daily. She also noticed that when the person in front of her was short $3 for their groceries, she automatically offered to cover the difference without the internal debate that would have consumed her just 2 months earlier. The moment Cordelia recognized these internal signs and celebrated them as evidence of real change, everything accelerated. Within 2 weeks, a former student who had become a successful entrepreneur contacted her about tutoring his daughter in advanced mathematics. The tutoring rate he offered was 3 times her hourly rate at her second job. Within a month, word had spread among his network, and she had enough private tutoring work to quit her second job entirely. When I spoke with Cordelia 6 months later, she told me that the key was recognizing that the small changes were not small at all. They were the foundation of everything that followed. She said, "I almost missed the miracle because I was looking for something big and dramatic. But the miracle was in the way I stopped being afraid every time I spent $5. When I celebrated that shift, everything else shifted with it." The most important thing to understand about recognizing abundance signs is that your acknowledgement of them actually multiplies them. When you notice a positive change and feel genuine gratitude for it, you send a signal to the universe that you are ready for more. What you appreciate appreciates. What you celebrate expands. If you are beginning to notice any of these signs in your own life, no matter how small they seem, take a moment to go down to the comments and acknowledge them. You might write week 3, sleeping better and worrying less, or first synchronicity appeared today, or simply something is shifting and I am grateful. Your recognition of the signs not only strengthens them in your own life, but also helps others recognize similar signs in theirs. We are all walking this path of abundance together. Remember that abundance is not a destination you arrive at. It is a consciousness you embody. These signs are not proof that you are finally becoming abundant. They are confirmation that you are remembering the abundant being you have always been. Every sign, no matter how subtle, is worthy of celebration because it represents your return to your natural state of prosperity and joy. There is a story I must tell you. A story that illustrates everything we have been exploring together about morning abundance consciousness. It is the story of a woman named Esperanza. And when you hear her journey, you will understand how the simple practice of changing your first thoughts each morning can transform every aspect of your life. Esperanza was 43 years old and working as a massage therapist in a small wellness center in Northern California. She was talented at her work and deeply cared about her clients, but no matter how many hours she worked or how many clients she saw, she always seemed to be living paycheck to paycheck. She would lie in bed every morning, and before her feet even touched the floor, her mind would begin the familiar calculation. How much do I need to make this week to cover rent? Did that client from Tuesday cancel? How am I going to afford the car repair that came up yesterday? Every morning for over 15 years, Esperanza's first conversation with life was about not having enough. She would wake up and immediately check her bank account on her phone, as if the numbers might have magically changed overnight. More often than not, seeing the balance would send a familiar wave of anxiety through her chest that would color her entire day. She began each day from a place of deficit, and somehow, despite her hard work and good intentions, deficit is exactly what she experienced. The morning that changed everything was not dramatic or special in any external way. It was a Tuesday in March, and the rain was falling softly on the roof of her small apartment. She had awakened as usual and was reaching for her phone to check her bank balance when something made her pause. In that moment of pause, she suddenly heard her own thoughts as if for the first time. "How am I going to make it this month?" she was thinking. And she realized with a shock that this thought, or some variation of it, was the very first thought she had every single morning. Sitting there in her bed with her hand halfway to her phone, Esperanza had what she later described as a moment of seeing clearly. She realized that she was programming herself for struggle before she even got out of bed. Every day, before life had a chance to surprise her or show her new possibilities, she was telling her subconscious mind that there was not enough, that survival was uncertain, that she needed to be afraid. That morning, instead of reaching for her phone, Esperanza placed her hand on her heart and tried something she had never done before. She tried to imagine what it would feel like to wake up feeling safe and provided for. It felt foreign, almost like pretending, but she whispered to herself, "What if life actually wants to take care of me?" The words felt strange on her tongue, but something in her chest seemed to soften when she spoke them. For the next 3 days, Esperanza experimented with this new morning ritual. Instead of immediately checking her bank account, she would place her hand on her heart and say, "Life wants to take care of me. Abundance flows to me easily. I am worthy of prosperity." The first week was difficult because her mind kept arguing with the words. The voice in her head would respond, "That's not true. Look at your bank account. Look at your bills." But she continued anyway, because the alternative, the old way of starting her mornings, had clearly not been working. In the second week, something subtle began to shift. She noticed that she was sleeping more peacefully. The anxiety that used to wake her up at 4 in the morning began to ease. She found herself feeling more present with her clients instead of mentally calculating how much money each session would bring her. Several clients commented that her touch seemed more relaxed, more healing than usual. By the fourth week, the first external sign appeared. A client named Marcus, whom she had been seeing for over a year, asked if she might be interested in working at a spa that his wife managed. The spa was looking for experienced therapists and offered a significantly higher hourly rate, plus the possibility of tips from their wealthy clientele. 3 months earlier, Esperanza would have been desperate enough to seem anxious about such an opportunity. But something was different now. She listened to the offer with calm interest and asked thoughtful questions without appearing needy. Her energy was so different that Marcus later told his wife, "There's something special about Esperanza. She has this peaceful confidence that I think your clients would really respond to." The interview at the spa went beautifully, and Esperanza was offered the position. But what happened next was even more remarkable. At the new spa, she was earning nearly double her previous income. But instead of feeling like she could finally relax, she found herself naturally generous. She began tipping the front desk staff, contributing more to her church, and buying small gifts for friends without the old internal calculation about whether she could afford it. The abundance was flowing through her, not accumulating in her. 6 months into her new position, Esperanza received an offer that astounded her. A client who was a successful real estate investor offered to hire her as his personal massage therapist for his entire family. The retainer he proposed would cover all her basic expenses, allowing her to work fewer hours while earning more money. When she told me about this offer, she said, "The strangest thing was that I was not even surprised. It felt like the natural next step. I had stopped being shocked by good things happening to me." But the most profound change was not in her external circumstances. It was in her internal relationship with abundance itself. Esperanza told me, "I realized that abundance was never about the amount of money in my bank account. It was about feeling held and supported by life itself. Once I felt that support, the money became just one of many ways that life showed me I was cared for." A year after she began her morning practice, Esperanza's life looked completely different. She was earning 3 times her previous income while working half the hours. She had moved to a beautiful apartment overlooking the ocean. She had started a small scholarship fund for massage therapy students. But when I asked her what the biggest change was, she said, "I wake up excited to see what gift the day will bring me, instead of wondering how I will survive it." That shift in my morning thought changed everything else. The most important part of Esperanza's story is not that she became wealthy. It is that she became a person who expected good things to happen to her. She shifted from a consciousness of scarcity and survival to a consciousness of abundance and trust. And once that internal shift was solid, the external world rearranged itself to match her new internal reality. Esperanza's transformation illustrates a principle that Louise Hay taught throughout her life. The point of power is always in the present moment. Every morning, you have the power to choose the thought that will program your entire day. You have the ability to align your consciousness with abundance rather than lack, with trust rather than fear, with gratitude rather than complaint. The woman who woke up calculating survival and the woman who woke up expecting miracles were the same woman. The only difference was the thought she chose to think first each morning. When she told me about her journey, Esperanza said something I will never forget. "I discovered that abundance is not something you achieve. It is something you remember you already are." Your story can be just like Esperanza's story. The abundant life you dream of is not waiting for you to become a different person. It is waiting for you to remember who you truly are. And that remembering can begin tomorrow morning with the very first thought you choose to think. We have traveled together through nearly 60 minutes of exploration, understanding, and practice. You have learned not just what to say each morning, but why these words have the power to transform your entire relationship with abundance. You have seen the science behind the spirituality, the practical steps within the mystical process. You have heard stories of real transformation and recognized perhaps your own story beginning to unfold within them. Now we come to the most sacred part of our time together. This is the moment when you seal everything you have learned into your consciousness, when you make the transition from understanding abundance to embodying it. What we do in these final minutes together will anchor your new morning practice not just as a technique you try, but as a truth you live. Place your hand gently over your heart now. Feel that steady, faithful rhythm that has been with you through every moment of your life, the rhythm that connects you to the heartbeat of life itself. Take 3 deep, slow breaths with me. Inhale the knowing that you are supported. Hold the awareness that abundance surrounds you. Exhale any remaining doubt about your worthiness to receive all good things. Feel the weight of this moment. For nearly an hour, you have been preparing for this. Every word you have heard, every practice you have learned, every story that has touched your heart has been leading to this sacred declaration. You are not just listening to words now. You are participating in a transformation. You are choosing to step out of the consciousness of scarcity that has been your familiar companion and into the consciousness of abundance that is your birthright. We will speak 3 declarations together, and with each one, you will feel something shifting deeper in your being. These are not wishes or hopes. They are recognitions of truth. They are statements of what is already real about you, spoken aloud so that every cell of your body, every aspect of your consciousness can hear and align with what you are declaring. The first declaration we will speak 3 times, each time with deeper knowing, each time with greater authority. The first time, whisper it with me as if you are sharing a secret with your own soul. The declaration is, I wake in abundance. Say it now softly. I wake in abundance. Feel the truth of those words settling into your chest. You do wake in abundance. Every morning, you wake in a body that has been sustained through the night. You wake to air that fills your lungs freely. You wake to a heart that beats without your effort. You wake in abundance. Now say it again with your normal voice, speaking to your conscious mind. I wake in abundance. Feel the declaration becoming stronger, more solid. You are not trying to convince yourself of something false. You are recognizing something that has always been true. Abundance is not something that happens to you occasionally. It is the context in which you live every moment. Now say it one more time with full authority, as if you are speaking a law of nature that cannot be changed. I wake in abundance. Feel those words reverberating through your entire being. Let the silence after the words carry their truth even deeper. You wake in abundance because abundance is what you are. The second declaration is, I live in gratitude. We will speak this 3 times as well, each repetition deepening your alignment with the grateful heart that magnetizes all good things. Whisper it first. I live in gratitude. Gratitude is not something you feel occasionally when things go well. It is the atmosphere in which you choose to live every day, recognizing the countless gifts that surround you constantly. Speak it now with confidence. I live in gratitude. Feel how gratitude is not just an emotion, but a way of seeing, a way of being that transforms everything it touches. When you live in gratitude, even challenges become teachers, even delays become protection, even endings become new beginnings. Now declare it with the authority of someone who knows this truth in their bones. I live in gratitude. Let the words echo through your consciousness. Gratitude is your natural state. It is the frequency that keeps you aligned with all the good that life wants to give you. The third declaration seals everything. It is the statement of who you are in your essence, beyond all temporary circumstances, beyond all appearances to the contrary. This declaration is, I am a magnet for good. Whisper it now with reverence. I am a magnet for good. You are not trying to become a magnet for good. You are recognizing that this is what you have always been. Your consciousness, when aligned with love and gratitude, naturally attracts experiences that match that vibration. Say it now with growing certainty. I am a magnet for good. Feel the truth of this statement in every cell of your body. Good seeks you as much as you seek good. You do not have to chase abundance or force opportunities. You only have to align with your magnetic nature and allow good to find you. Now declare it with absolute knowing. I am a magnet for good. Let this truth settle so deeply into your consciousness that it becomes the foundation from which you live every day. You are not separate from the abundance you desire. You are the very consciousness through which abundance expresses itself in the world. Now we speak the final truth that encompasses everything we have shared together. This is not just about morning affirmations or abundance consciousness. This is about who you are in your deepest essence. Place both hands on your heart now and speak with me. I am naturally abundant. I always have been. Feel the profound truth of this statement. Abundance is not something you have to earn or deserve or become worthy of. Abundance is what you are. It is your nature to be provided for, to be cared for, to have your needs met and your dreams fulfilled. You are naturally abundant. You always have been. And now the sacred seal that anchors everything we have spoken into the deepest levels of your being. We will speak these words like a law that governs your reality from this moment forward. And so it is sealed. Pause. And so it remains. Pause. And it cannot be otherwise. Pause. And so it is. Feel the finality of these words, the sense of completion they bring. Something has been established here that cannot be undone. You have aligned yourself with the abundant nature of life itself. You have remembered who you truly are. If these words have touched something deep within you, if you feel called to continue this journey of conscious abundance with me each week, then subscribe to this channel when your heart says yes. Every Tuesday, there is a new pathway into deeper alignment with the prosperity that is your birthright. Each teaching is different, but all point to the same truth. You are loved, you are worthy, and abundance is your natural state. In the comments below, declare your new beginning. Write simply, I wake in abundance, or I am a magnet for good, or Day 1 of living my true nature. Your public declaration becomes an anchor for your private transformation. And as you read the declarations of others, you will see that thousands are awakening to their abundant nature alongside you. And if you feel moved to support this work in some way, there is a link in the first pinned comment that allows you to offer what feels right to your heart. This is never an obligation, only an opportunity for energy to circulate. As Louise always taught, when we give freely, we receive freely. When we support abundance, abundance supports us. But remember, you have already received everything you need. The rest is simply love flowing in the form it chooses. Your new relationship with morning abundance begins tomorrow, but it has also already begun right now. In this moment, something has shifted in your consciousness. The person who started listening to these words and the person who is finishing them are not the same. You have remembered something essential about who you are. Life has always loved you. It was simply waiting for your permission to show you just how much. Your new life of conscious abundance does not start tomorrow morning when you speak your first affirmations. It starts now, in this breath, in this awareness, in this quiet and magnificent choice to align with the truth of your abundant nature. And so it is.